You want to go first?
Yeah, I'm going to go first, and I think we need to go. I don't want to say go back. I think I need to lay some more groundwork, right? Because there are a lot of people talking about, the moral arguments and so forth or whatever, and they're starting this morality game where it's convenient to start. So let's talk a little bit about what I hinted about last week when I was on the show. I said that this very system that we have, the Westminster system, that was given to us, or we borrowed, or whatever the case may be.
Sorry to cut you. This being Trinidad and Tobago?
Yes, Trinidad and Tobago, right? This very system that we have confers more power on our politicians than it confers on the politicians of the country that we got it from, the UK. And any other big geographical space that uses the system, their leaders don't have as much power. And let me explain what I mean. In Trinidad and Tobago, when we were in school, we learned that you have three branches of government. Three branches. You have the executive, right? The Prime Minister and his ministers and the ministries.
The legislative.
You have the legislative, which is made up of the upper and the lower house, House of Representatives, Senate. And you have a judiciary. Those are three arms of government. Now, one of the things that you don't want to happen is for any one person or any one group of persons to be able to control more than one arm of government. And you don't want that because of the abuse. Power corrupts, absolute power corrupts, absolutely. Yeah?
Yes.
Right. Now, here's the problem we have in Trinidad and Tobago. The Prime Minister controls his executive.
Right. He also controls.
Right? Now, the Parliament, the Prime Minister has more senators that he can recommend than everybody else. Right? So by virtue of that, I put you there in the Senate, I control you to a large degree. Right? You're beholden.
Take you out too.
Right. You're beholden to me. In the House of Representatives, he became Prime Minister because of the fact that most of the MPs, or most of the seats that were won, are his MPs.
Right.
He takes those MPs and he makes those MPs ministers. And if he has 23 or 24 MPs and he only has 21 cabinet positions, he gives out 21 actual full ministers, and then he takes the other 1, 2, or 3 and he makes them ministers in the ministry. So what's happening there is this. He now can say to somebody who is either a senator, where he has a majority, or somebody who is in the House of Representatives, he can direct how they vote when it comes to making law.
Yes.
So just by virtue of the fact that most of the representatives in the House are beholden to him via the cabinet positions, not the MP positions, the cabinet positions, which are more valuable, more coveted than MP positions. Right? He is able, or she is able to control two arms of government. Right. Now let's take this same system and let's go to England. The winning party in England wins about 300 seats. Okay?
Instead of
41 that we have. Right? Well, you're winning here, winning about 21, 22, 23. Right. Guess how many cabinet positions they have? At one time, we had 21. They had 21. So
they're multiple times bigger than us.
Right. So imagine 300 MPs win. You're the Prime Minister. Those are your MPs, right? Members of Parliament. They're just representatives. You give 21 of them cabinet positions. How many of them can you control via cabinet position? 21. The other 280, if they don't like what you're saying when you're about to try to pass a bill or whatever the case could be, they could literally tell you, hold it, turn. They could. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, they can.
Right?
They have that.
So you don't actually have control of the two arms of government in the same kind of way. Right? So, I'm saying all that to say this. We in the Caribbean, and you can imagine any island where you just don't have the big, large number, right? So that your cabinet positions put you in that position, right? We got a system from these people, and these people probably jealous when they look at, because they're like, man, I wish I was prime minister down there because I have more power and more control down there.
Yeah.
Right? Now, the reason why Hamid Ghani wrote that thing is he's trying to tell you that what the Commonwealth nations are trying to do is maintain the independence of the MPs, because at the end of the day, the voters put them there to represent them,
Right.
not necessarily the party.
The party.
Right? Now, my point is this. We are in a scenario where our prime ministers have way more control over our MPs and the legislator than they were supposed to have.
Yeah.
So they actually have more power. And what they want is even more power. You understand? I want to control you to the point where if you try to leave, or if you try to oppose me, I could expel you and you lose your position. And my fundamental issue with all of this is this. If we understand the underlying concept with this stuff, which is your MPs need to be at least independent to some degree so that they can represent the people who put them there and whatever the case may be. We want to start having this moral argument now. But we ended up in a scenario where we had more power than was ever intended, and we're still looking for more. And I'm trying to figure out, how is it that regular average people, I mean, I lie on the block, talk to people sometimes. If you ask the average person, do you think politicians have too much power? The average person will tell you yes. Yet there are people arguing to give them more power. Robinson came after, and everybody knows that Robinson was a scholar. He came after. He looked at it and said, hey, no. We don't want them to have that much power. And we find ourselves in 2022 almost looking like we're trying to go backwards to give them more power, when you have the very people them who come up with the system meeting around the world to say, hey, no, we need them to be more independent.
Yes.
So what are we doing actually?
So we're kind of working against that. And there has been many commentators across Tobago that would have stated the moral quandary that we have now is that, as Leroy said, you campaigned under a mandate given to you by the political organization, which is the PDP. Now that you are independent, right? Are you going to follow that mandate? And if not, if you're not following that mandate, is it now immoral for you, right? Because the people would have bought in on that manifesto, that mandate. Is it now immoral for you to say that you're doing your own thing as an independent when we wanted you to do this thing, and we can't hold you accountable for this thing?
So it seems to me that a number of people are equating the fact that a group of people left an organization with a group of people left an organization and is no longer committed to the ideas of the organization.
Okay.
I do not know that those are the two same things. Okay? Oftentimes, people leave organizations for two reasons. I no longer believe in the things the organization believed in, right? So that's one.
Right.
Or I realize that what the organization said it believed in, it doesn't believe.
Right.
And so I left.
Okay.
Right? And I don't think anybody can doubt that those two scenarios exist. Right? And so the question for us now is to try to determine which one is it?
Yeah.
Did they leave because they no longer believe in the mandate of the organization? Or did they believe because or did they leave because they believe the organization is not committed to the mandate? And quite frankly, the only way that you can answer that is the same way that you answer the question for all of the elections gone by when people give you a manifesto. To find out if that organization is committed to the manifesto or the mandate or the whatever, you watch them govern.
Yeah.
And you start checking off. Did they do this? Did they do that? Did they do da. For somebody to tell me that I resign today and tomorrow you know that I'm not committed to my mandate. I mean, it's a facetious kind of thing. You understand? And so, but let's be real. This is politics.
Yeah.
And people are going to make a mountain out of a molehill and all kinds of stuff and whatever the case may be. I know that at the end of the day, you cannot govern in confusion and a set of old talk and every Monday morning is this and is that and is whatever. And quite frankly, anybody who was truly concerned about this party governing, and I don't mean whether you're for the party or against the party. I mean you're in Tobago and you want them to govern because they're already there.
Yeah.
And you need some order. The best thing they could have done is what they just did. Because we know for a fact, we're not crazy, we sit down here watching it. If you stayed there, confusion evermore. Now, right now, it's looking like more confusion. Well, yeah, to leave, there's be some confusion. But the whole idea is after you leave, eventually, hopefully it should settle. Now, do I think that the set of old talk and whatever is going to continue probably for months and months? Yes. It will, right? But guess what? There's a difference between you and I in a house together and one set of old talk from you, which upsetting me. I sit down, I trying to do my computer, my work and whatever, and I can't concentrate or whatever. Versus I leave, I go to the next house. You could throw your talk from across the road or wherever, I close my door and I can get my work done.
Right.
And I think for me, that's the analogy I am using.
Okay.
And I'm okay with that.
Right. What do you think about what was said on that program and the process by which they had to leave the do you think it was justified the way they planted it out? They said it.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I wasn't there. In fact, Leroy was more there than I ever was, right? Until he wasn't there anymore. You know, but if I'm to take them at their word, I mean, I understand why they left. I'll tell you something. It's ironic to me when I hear people talk about this fissure or this division or this whatever the case may be. You have 14 assemblymen, and 13 of them all left, all at the same time, all in unison.
With the councillors?
With the councillors. Now, of course, some people will say maybe a couple of them were coerced or whatever the case. I don't know. Here's what I do know. All of them but one left together.
Yeah.
And it was one of those occasions where you saw a united front in the fashion you would like to see a united front. Typically, when these things happen in parties, it's 3 and 4 different factions. You had this one, you had that one, you had the other one, you had whatever. I said it on Facebook maybe 2 weeks ago. We don't even have 2 factions because one person can't be a faction.
No.
You understand?
Yeah. So we have voices.
So for me, I didn't panic at all. Like I thought this looked good. Let me tell you where I would have panicked. You see, if it was 11 of them, I'll say something wrong here. Something wrong here. You understand what I'm saying? Something wrong. It wasn't 11. It was all except one.
Yeah.
So, you know, I sat down. I listened to them talk last week. I thought some of the things they said they probably shouldn't actually necessarily say.
To the public.
But, I mean, it is what it is, right? When you're talking and you're being passionate, you say things you're not supposed to say. I mean, I said Tuntun a while ago. I don't know, maybe that wouldn't go over well, you know. Right? And, you know, so, but I I felt as though they wanted to clear the air as much as possible. Obviously, in clearing the air, they will get licks for it. But sometimes you want to vent, and I can say that they have been very, very, or at least they had been very, very, very disciplined up to that point. And you gotta give people a chance. You know what I mean? You gotta give people a chance. So I'm just
Go ahead.
a little bit curious because it's like I feel like as though Leroy started talking about the conversation that happened, but like he didn't really say what happened. He said Farley didn't say that, but I mean, kind of finish it for me.
Let me state it clearly. I did not hear Farley say, "I will leave if Watson don't leave." That I cannot co-sign to. That is what I heard the PDP chairman, Dr. Ned, say today.
Right.
Okay.
I cannot co-sign to that.
Right.
Because I did not witness that.
What did you
right?
witness?
What I heard, and I'm paraphrasing,
Okay.
right? But with great accuracy,
Right.
is that this is coming from the now Chief Secretary Farley Chavez Augustine, do not want Watson Solomon Duke to be listed amongst the candidates going into this election.
And this would have been
And
the
that-
December election last year.
No, that would have been the January election
January
last year.
6th
So that is
election,
when
right.
things
Sorry.
would have gone particularly left.
Right.
Right? That
And
was
you- and
just
you
This was the
previous to
6-6,
that.
the 6-6 election we're talking about.
This is the 6-6
Okay.
election we're talking about. And what I'm saying is, you have a constitution, you have a system, you went out there, you publicly said that we're going to have a screening process. And then after that, we're going to have the action groups elect the persons that they want to be candidates. And so long as you have a passing score on the screening, and also the action group co-sign
can I
to you,
ask
you
you-
become a candidate. 1 second, and
I-
I'm going to address
but
it.
I was asking you questions though.
I want to
But let
finish
me-
this train of thought. I'm not giving you way. I want to finish this train
All
of
right.
thought.
All right.
So, with that being said, if we saw an adherence to the rules that were stated, then we wouldn't have that situation because that conversation should have never been happening
in the first place.
in the first place.
Okay, go ahead, Mr.
So,
Jason.
right, but it's really questions that I don't know about the situation.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you say you were there. Why did
You said I was there, not I said I was there.
He was privy to the conversation.
Well, the
You
man-
said I
the
was,
man
and
say
I
he-
agreed.
The man say he's
Yes.
paraphrasing with great accuracy, so I'm
With
assuming.
great accuracy, yes, I
right?
was present.
Right. So, also you were there, just okay.
Present.
Anyways, so why did Farley say that to him?
Right. So the particular incident, oh no, I'm not going to state that. And the reason why I'm not going to state that, I was going to state it. The reason I'm
We
not going to
almost
state
catch you, we
it.
almost
Remember,
catch you.
I said earlier, it would be improper of me to bring anything
To bring the extra.
into the conversation
That
that
wasn't
isn't
aired
already out there,
Okay.
because it would have happened behind closed doors.
You almost
What I
had him
could
there.
say,
You almost
what
had
I
him.
could say,
You almost
what I
had him.
could say, right?
Right,
It
right.
was very trivial.
Okay, I got
It
you.
was petty.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Whew. Again, too small an island for all this bacchanal. All right. But again, I
It's
feel
just the right size for the back.
just the right size. I love it.